not only fully supports the proposed budget of the judiciary, but also proposes for the increase or to augment the budget of the judiciary para po sa ating mga kababayan, lalo na po ma-improve ang ating justice system. And yun lang po, maraming salamat po. At last point lang po, it's isa pong malaking karangalan makaharap po ang ating mga justices. As a former practitioner, it's a really great honor. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Maraming salamat po, Your Honor.
Thank you, Minority Leader JP Padiernos, for your statement of support not only to approve the NEP proposed budget, but to increase it.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is music to our ears. Thank you.
Thank you,
So
Your
we
Honor.
proceed now to the next interpellator, who will be the Honorable Vice Chair Brian Poe.
Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. And of course, to our justices, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Tulad ng sinabi ni Congressman Padiernos, isang malaking karangalan po ito para sa akin na naging Vice Chair po ako sa inyong pandinig para sa budget niyo po. So to begin, when it comes to the needs of our constituents, malapit talaga sa puso ng mga kababayan natin ang hustisya. So with that being said, I actually want to highlight some of the efforts of the judiciary, specifically yung e-courts and our video conferencing. I believe when we started these programs way back, we saw an initial uptick in the number of cases that we were able to hear. Do you have any of the current statistics on e-courts and video conferencing? How many cases have been processed through e-courts?
As of now, Your Honor, we do not have we are not in possession of the exact statistics, but we can provide it, Your Honor.
Maraming salamat po. It's something that I want to showcase to our kababayans to show that justice is accessible. No.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
On that note, may I ask what is being done to improve our e-court system, our video conferencing, para maging mas accessible para sa mga kababayan natin?
Your Honor, the video conferencing is very much dependent on the ICT equipment, which is why part of the modernization package that we were asking to be included in our budget is the procurement of this ICT equipment. And that is really the plan, Your Honor. If it really goes on full throttle, this e-court version 2.0, if all courts will be able to have the resources available on ICTs, then there will be no problem even to resorting to video conferencing and monitoring it, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, may I ask, how much are we looking at if we want to include this ICT?
Around 4 billion, Your Honor.
4 billion. But that's nationwide, lahat magkakaroon ng access na.
Yes, Your Honor, nationwide.
Mr. Chair, 4 billion pesos, I believe the President has been trying to divert or convince Congress to divert some infrastructure spending to soft spending that people will really feel. Kumbaga, 4 billion pesos compared to some of the infrastructure projects and magiging nationwide ito, lahat magkakaroon ng access. I believe this is a worthwhile expense, worth discussing with leadership here in the House. So if we can have exact figures on that, and if ever you are able to acquire the 4 billion for next year, what are the chances that this can really be adopted within the year?
This is actually a project undertaken by none other than our Senior Associate Justice Marvic Leonen, and he's really into it, Your Honor. If I can listen to his plans for, it would appear that just the end of this year, there's actually pilot courts already who have already witnessed the dashboard of the e-court version 2.0. That's in Davao. Other than Davao, we have Bacolod, Tagum, Baguio, Makati City, Your Honor. So with all those, the success in the pilot projects, Your Honor, we're really ready to roll out by next year, hopefully by January 2026.
That's fantastic. If we can partner your pilot data with the data we currently have on e-courts and the number of cases that are heard, we can make a strong case for increasing the budget of the judiciary para mas accessible po ang hustisya para sa mga kababayan natin. Is there more data that you would like to share?
Yes, Your Honor, because you were asking a preliminary data on the number, let's see how the use or resort to video conferencing can be a better access to serve justice. As of from January to August 2025, Your Honor, the number of PDLs released via video conferencing hearing is 6,232. Thank you, Your Honor. And
Mr. Chair, for the record, that's 6,232
232
individuals that
Yes.
benefited and were given their liberty because of video conferencing, not at its full potential.
Yes,
So
Your
if we
Honor.
can increase accessibility, hopefully we can increase the number of PDLs. And I believe the president himself set a goal of trying to release as many PDLs as possible through proper court proceedings. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor. As a matter of fact, Your Honor, any accused who is a person deprived of liberty, courts usually resort to video conference hearings. And I have the statistics for it, Your Honor. From the BJMP alone, we have a total of 220,975 video conference hearings conducted. From Bucor, the Bureau of Corrections, we have a total of 6,946 hearings conducted. And from the courts, we have a 120,860 video conference hearings conducted.
And I assume this is with minimal ICT equipment, no?
Yes, Your Honor. Sometimes the judge would provide for himself or herself personally.
Sana
Yes, Your
Congress can provide that for our judges,
Yes, Your
no?
Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
So I'll ask if you could submit to this representation the necessary data so that
Yes,
we
Your
can
Honor.
discuss amongst the Appropriations Committee how we can help. Next is I would also like to highlight the efforts of the Judiciary to look into AI. I believe that the Judiciary, one of the first in Southeast Asia already to look at an AI framework for the Judiciary. Can you tell us a bit more about how you're preparing for the advent of AI?
The Chief Justice is very vocal on artificial intelligence, Your Honor, especially on research. But we have likewise been or actively training our judges that it should just be a tool, which is reflected in the provisions of our new Code of Judicial Conduct, because sometimes there are more often than not lawyers who simply resort to artificial intelligence without necessarily verifying the data. That's why we are actively telling our judges not to be more conscious of resort to AI technology, that it should not there should be human intervention all the time, because it should simply be used as a tool but not as it is to prepare our decisions and orders.
Opo, I believe you're currently working on a framework internally on how to deal with AI, no?
Yes. Yes, thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you. So moving from there, I want to discuss quickly yung legal aid natin. So can you give me a bit of an overview on the free courts that you provide for indigents and easier access for PDLs aside from yung video conferencing natin?
Your Honor, I was just handed statistics since on statistics on video conference hearings conducted, and this is from our MIS, or from our Management Information System. Since this is 2020, Your Honor, since 2020 when pandemic struck. So as of December 15, 2024, it has become really effective because the video conference hearings conducted numbered 1,582,143, criminal cases of which is 1,475,702. And then if we look at the July 15, 2025 figures, the VCH hearings conducted number 1,632,163, criminal cases of which are 1,524,761. So it has really been very effective, Your Honor. Instead of canceling the hearing, we really proceed with it from remote locations.
So you would say, in your opinion, but this is badly needed to advance our legal systems.
Yes, Your Honor.
I have a question, the indulgence of Congressman Poe. How much is the percentage of these millions of conferences in the entire totality of our trial court system?
Percentage
then-
of video calls.
Yeah, percentage, which if you take the totality, everything will now be video conference hearings, then how much is that? Because our intention, as proposed by our good Vice Chairman, is to really, give you the budget so that everything will now be video conferencing, if possible, because it saves time. I have been practicing for 35 years before I became commissioner and then congressman. So, yeah, I mean, it will be easier for everybody. Judges, lawyers, clients, to be able to have that. So what is that percentage now, and what do you propose for 2026 so that we will really have video conference hearings all over the country in all courts?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. If so far, Your Honor, when a hearing involves a person deprived of liberty, parang default na po yan video conference hearing. So they don't have to come to court. So if for those criminal cases, video conference hearing po, and then compare it with the civil cases and other criminal cases that would require our default system on face-to-face hearing, video conference hearings would roughly be estimated to constitute at least mga 25 to 30% of our trial system, of our proceedings.
You're now doing 25% already?
Yes, Your Honor.
But,
Yes, Your Honor.
But my experience in Cagayan de Oro, there's still persons deprived of liberty. They're brought by the prisoners' vans and buses that I have requested every year from the BJMP. So not all are into video conferencing on PDLs, because I can see them. I go to the jail and they are transported and they are personally appearing. So
Yes, Your
that
Honor.
I'm sure it's not yet 100% for PDLs,
Yes.
which you have stated.
yeah.
Can you clarify that?
Yes,
Because
I'm-
in many jails, they're still bringing prisoners
Yes.
for hearing in the courts themselves.
yes.
Yes, can we have the explanation?
Let me correct it po, Your Honor. I'm sorry for that. While the courts are ready to conduct video conference hearings, sometimes there are variables that we need to factor in, such as the lack of equipment from the jail facility itself or lack of Wi-Fi access. So that can happen, Your Honor. So if
Intend to also install. It will not be the BJMP that will be purchasing this online connection, but will it be the courts or we give it to the BJMP so that they'll be connected to the courts?
Yes, Your Honor, because of Araulio versus Aquinon, I think the BJMP has to purchase or procure its own equipment because for their own funds and connectivity. That will be from DOJ funding, Your Honor. Perhaps
Let's just focus
Yes.
on the judiciary. So next year, if we give you 4 billion, how much percentage of all possible hearings of all the courts, the Supreme Court to the our special courts and then our lower courts, how many would be given that particular equipment and to be able to have to conduct hearings? If we give the 4 billion that you are saying.
Yes, if all courts are now all equipped with the digital infrastructure that we need, including the ICT equipment, then depending, as guided by our rules on video conferencing hearings, Your Honors, it should run 100%. It should, Your Honor, next year. Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, I've looked at your proposal for 21.7 billion, correct? That's what you're asking. That's the total amounts being requested for
Yes, for the
reconsideration.
MR. Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, I have
Yes,
it
Your
here.
Honor.
I don't see the 4 billion here for ICT equipment.
That's why they need us, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, but it's not requested. It's not part of the request. How's that?
Because it is in under our SPJI program, Your Honor.
Oh, where is that here? Pages, we refer to pages 16, 17, and 18. That is the total 21.76 billion. So, saan dito yung yung ICT that Congressman Poe is trying to help you?
Pwede natin kunin ito.
Hindi yan. They
Wala.
already gave us that. Ito naman, we're requesting
Mr. Chair, baka it was suggested to the DBM but it